What's up everybody, it's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster in Westwood, and that's right, it is coaster time folks. We get to our first coaster finally here in episode 9 of the series, and not just a new coaster but also a new section of the park. This is actually the next section of the park that is actually working on, and I thought starting on the coaster would be the best thing to do, and because I just wanted to make sure I got the placement of the coaster correctly, and it's quite interesting. So this is going to be the mining themed section of the park. So what would fit best in that theme? Of course, a mine train coaster I thought was the best theme, best coaster type to actually go into the theme of this park. Of this section rather, not park. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff left to do in Westwood Shores, so don't think that I'm done with that. I have a lot more detailing to do within that part of the park. So we're just gonna move on, and we need to get more of the layouts and basic stuff done with the sections of the park still. So yeah, this is going to be the mining theme of the park, so there's going to be a lot of mine theme rides and stuff like that. It's going to be a much better, probably larger section of the park, better than Westwood Shores and stuff like that. So on this mine train coaster, I want you to think kind of a little bit of maybe Thunderation from Silver City, a little bit in a way. Kind of, it starts off with a turn, and then it has, you know, this kind of like this little helix into a tunnel, which Thunderation does have. But the first part of this part before the lift hill is actually shorter, or much shorter actually, I might add, and there's more onto it after the lift hill. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's kind of a little bit inspired by Thunderation, but it's quite large, probably a little bit, definitely faster, and probably a little bit taller as well in that regard. So I wanted to make sure this train actually hugs the terrain a lot, and that this coaster has a lot of terrain interaction. So it definitely has a lot, quite a few tunnels in here and there. And this part right after the first drop and stuff like that, it picks up a lot of speed. I had a little bit of trial and error with this coaster because I don't have a lot of experience with mine train coasters and stuff like that, and I wasn't really thinking here. I figured it would have a lot of speed at this point, but it had a little bit too much speed than I wanted to, and I actually have to add a set of trim brakes in this part of and at one point in the section of this coaster. So there was actually this point right here is where I actually do add trim brakes, not at the beginning because I didn't realize how fast we actually had it. It has a max speed of 55 miles per hour, which is actually really fast, I think, for a mine train coaster. And I think that would be really cool because they can market this ride as the fastest mine train coaster in the world, but I don't actually know. I haven't done my research on that of how fast mine trains usually go. I think usually no more than 40, a little around 40 miles an hour is usually what they do go. So they're not the fastest trains. They're not the fastest coasters in the world. They're actually pretty slow. So this can be marketed as a really fast, modern mine train coaster. So I want everyone to think that this is actually a modern mine train, so it's going to be able to have a little bit more of a thrill factor to it, which is actually really neat. So again, this is a park that's opening in 2017 in March. So I want you to think that, you know, all these rides are brand spanking new and stuff like that. So they're gonna have, you know, next level technology with a lot of their rides. So that is going to be kind of a neat thing. Including the mine train. Now, as for the manufacturer of this, I'm not entirely sure what the manufacturer would be. If they even build mine trains anymore? I'm not even sure. I haven't seen a new mine train open up in, like, I don't even know, since I was born. I think I don't even know. Like, it's been so long since mine train's been built in a amusement park. So I'd have to look that up and actually do a little bit of research. As much as I know quite a bit about roller coasters, I don't know a whole lot about mine trains very well because they're just they're not the most exciting rides to me, and I prefer, you know, like wooden coasters or steel coasters that are bigger, like B&Ms or Intamins or something like that. As for these, I don't really know. I mean, I believe Aerodynamics made a couple of mine trains, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Thunderation is actually an aerodynamic coaster, and it doesn't have like the wooden planks on the track, and it actually has more of a wooden wooden support structure, so which is kind of different. So it's kind of a different type than this one in a way, but it still has like the mine train trains and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool. Now, as for the storyline here for this coaster, it's still slightly developing, but I'm still trying to come up with a storyline for this ride. It is quite simple, you know, it's a mine train, and it's actually the workers of the mine train are looking for, this is just kind of a basic idea. The miners are looking for some volunteers to come through a dangerous ride through the mines and stuff like that, because when they built this mine train track, they built it a little bit off, and it ended up going crazy, and they called it the crazy mine train. So pretty much, I don't know exactly, they called it whatever the name of this ride's gonna be, pretty much. And that's kind of the storyline goes along, and they have to go in and mine up a couple of materials and stuff like that, and it's something they need to do right away. So they need those volunteers to come in and help them mine that stuff, because they don't have enough workers. So they need volunteers to help the city of Westwood to actually come in and mine up some of those materials and stuff like that. So there was a lot of trial and error again. Again, I had to add some trim brakes on this ride, and I want to make sure every coaster has some sort of transfer track as well. So this one's going to have a transfer track. It's only going to be able to run 2 trains, and so it's going to have like an old style transfer track. You know, it's just going to have, you know, they're going to shift over, and that's about it. The track can shift over, and that's it's about it, and it's stored right next to the, you know, actual brake run. So nothing too fancy there. It's going to be pretty basic. But as for this structure of this station, it's actually very different and unique. I think that it's actually kind of a challenge, and I was actually up for the challenge, and I think it actually turns out kind of nice so far. I don't finish the station. I still have a lot more to do. I didn't even put the roof on yet for the station, so that will come later. A lot of detailing to go into this ride and everything like that, and a lot of terrain interaction as well. Which is actually a really neat little feature to have in this kind of ride. I think terrain interaction is really, really important for a ride like this, and you just gotta mess with the terrain a little bit and create some tunnels, and you'll have yourself a nice little mine train. And again, this is probably the least or the smallest coaster that's going in, unless I decide to put like a junior coaster or some sort of kiddie coaster in, which I'm undecided yet on that. Probably won't, but for anyways, this is going to be the more of the family coaster that is going to be available in the park, and it's going to be really cool. And you always have to have that family coaster that's not, the most exciting ride in the world, but it's a ride that the entire family can enjoy. So the next coaster after this one, I'm not entirely sure what we'll get to, but I'm trying to maybe possibly look at the B&M Floorless being the next coaster to be built in the next section of the park. Of course, I'm developing what the next section is going to be, but as for right now, we're going to stick to the mine section of the park, which is going to be really, really cool. Now, other rides that are going to be going into here, I was thinking of a lot of different things. I would love to have like a drop tower, but I just not the drop tower that they provide us with. I wanted kind of like more, not necessarily a launch or drop tower, but more like the launch tower, like you see those SNS launch towers that launch you up and then down, that you just launch up and down. Those are really cool. I really enjoy those a lot, and I really wanted to do something like that and call it like the mine shaft or something like that. I don't know, something really cool. And then I also am thinking about possibly a dark ride in this section as well. I think it would actually be really cool for the mine section to have like a dark ride, not necessarily like a indoor roller coaster, but kind of like just a dark ride in general, where it has a really awesome mine theme to it, and that's something that might develop later on, and we'll see how that goes. But for right now, we're going to focus on this roller coaster and other aspects as well. So anyways, let me guys know what you think about the dark ride idea, and I'd like to plan that out a lot if we do get around to that. So this is going to be the mine section. The mine section, of course, is going to be larger than Westwood Shores. Westwood Shores is actually one of the smaller sections of the park that is planned. So anyways, let me guys know what you think about the mine theme or the mining area. I think that's fits the theme very well for Westwood, and I think it will actually work out very well. Because there's a lot of space that actually can work for expansion, I think, in this area, and that will be really neat as well. Because what I really wanted to put this coaster kind of more in the forest, kind of, where it's covered by trees. Don't worry, the trees are coming. There will be trees, a lot of trees in here. So every time I'm building like a queue line or like station and stuff, it looks so dull at the beginning, and then after you detail it, it's just amazing the transformation of what scenery can really do to your rides and stuff like that. It's just amazing. Like some of the pathways I might kind of redo, like where the exit is for the ride. I might actually redo it just a little bit. Yeah, I feel like that circle's kind of awkward, but you never know. We'll see how it turns out. And then I want to make like this tunnel that went under the station that heads over to the other side where the loading platform is for the coaster itself. Now, again, I don't get a lot of details into here, just kind of like the basic layout of, you know, the pathways and the queue line and, of course, the station as well. There's still a lot of detailing to do, and like I said, there's still a lot of detailing to do in Westwood Shores as well. And again, those will come in the future, but I like working on a layout kind of the park and get the layout done and then put the details in afterwards to make it just pop and everything like that. So I think that's very important that you do get the details and never forget them, but sometimes they do come later. So anyways, we don't get into too much detailing in this episode. Mostly, like I said, layouts of, you know, kind of the pathways and stuff like that, and we do a little bit of tree placing here and there. Towards the end of the episode, we actually place some trees over off to the side that will eventually get into the trees and everywhere around the actual ride itself. And we have a lot of scenery items and theming to do within the queue line and stuff like that, and we'll be looking forward to that. I'm not even finished with the queue line area stuff, so we haven't even gotten to details on that, not even close. So I wanted to make sure this area had a lot of terrain going with the pathways as well. I thought that'd be kind of fun and cool to have you know, some of the terrain interacting with the pathways, like the queue line sections and the exit and stuff like that, to make sure that those are nice and unique in a way, and make sure that they will just pop out and like, wow, that's actually really cool and stuff like that. So I like the layout of the basic idea and layout of this ride so far. Again, I'm not the best at making mine trains, but I actually am very satisfied with how this mine train has turned out so far. And yeah, so there's a lot of work to do, and I think scenery will make it 10 times better. Let me guys know what you think in the comments for this mine train layout. It's kind of not the most advanced layout in the world, but I thought it turned out kind of nice. So over here, I'm going to make like the transfer table over here for the mine train. Anyways, so always interesting to make these. I was expecting them to be in the final game when the game released, but they still might add them. So transfer tracks are always fun to have just for realism purposes, and they add just a little bit more of that realism factor to your parks. So but it's still possible to make them without actual functioning ones. I would love to have functioning ones. That would be really cool. So like if you can choose to remove a train or add a train as needed. So if you have a slow a ride that's not doing as well or not as popular, you could take a train off or something like that just during operation. I think that'd be really cool and kind of work on the realism parts of the game as well, and I think that's really fun. So as for the stairway here that goes up to the loading platform, I kind of leave it off for right now because it was going to be, I was going to support it, and I wanted to possibly enclose it as well, so it has a roof over it, and it most likely will in the end, but for right now that remains the way it is until I figure out what I'm going to do for it. So I didn't really feel like working on it at the moment, so I decided to go over here and place a couple more some trees and bushes and just more natural stuff over off to the side here of the first turn, and you're going to see a lot of this throughout the scenery aspects of the ride once I get into more details and stuff like that. We're going to get a lot of plants and bushes and stuff throughout it, so it makes it feel like it's more inside of a forest and like in the woods and stuff like that. I think that's just adds so much more to the ride. It makes it a lot more fun, and just really, you know, sometimes a little can add some near miss elements as well, you know, when you're rolling through these trees and stuff. But anyways, that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more Westwood, and let me guys know what you think in the comments. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have a great day and an even cooler tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you, and wait for it, and goodbye.